Hello, everybody, and welcome live to 10-4 Broadcasting for tonight's presentation of the Powerhouse Racing League from my favorite track, Phoenix International Raceway. I'm Mitchell Adams. Joining me in the booth tonight again is Patrick Morrison. And Patrick, qualifying just got underway here from Phoenix. A lot of times rolling in, but this league keeps doing a great job putting on some great racing. We'll get you updated on last week once some drivers get done with their qualifying laps, but we've been having a great time up here in the booth with you. It's debatably short track Saturday night. I know, Patrick, a lot of people have mixed opinions on whether or not Phoenix is a short track. I think it is, but either way, we're in for quite the show here tonight.
Yeah, yes, we are. And Phoenix is after the redo here of past few years ago. Some people kind of have different feelings of how they really feel about this track. The grip is a little different, the banking of the turns are different, and now where the start-finish line is different. So it kind of plays up on you when you're running the pit road strategy of where to finish and how to race this race tonight, and definitely keeping your car clean.
Yeah, it is very important here to keep the car clean, something very difficult to do at Phoenix. It's a very unique racetrack compared to a lot of others we have here on the schedule. It's unique in NASCAR just because of the open dog leg and the corners very flat, very difficult to drive, high tire wear here at Phoenix, and it presents a ton of fun for us, like we said, here in the booth to watch these drivers fan out on the starts and restarts through that dog leg. I can't wait for it, Patrick, personally, but you see a couple of drivers have been out for qualifying. Right now it's the 16 of Lucas Gortman, who missed last week's race up on top of the chart. He gave up quite a bit of points to Charles Evans, who did pick up the win last week. Those two have been battling for points all season. Let me do some quick mental math, try and whip up the points gap. Is 48 points now separate Charles Evans and Lucas Gortman. So that's quite a gap for Lucas coming into tonight, but I say that in the 6 of Landon Lacey's knocked him off the charts as you're watching Kayla McCarthy start her qualifying run.
Yeah, and that line she's taking is really peculiar, being able to cut the inside of that turn off. I wonder if she's going to use that during the race, seeing that you see it's hopping the tires going around. But Landon Lacey pulling a quick time there of 27.5. So this is actually going to be quite a cool night tonight. We're going to be about 78 degrees, but the track temp will be around over 100 degrees. So we're definitely going to have nice cool air for those engines, but the tires are definitely going to tack up and stick to the track tonight. Mitchell?
Yeah, and you probably might see some different approaches to the racetrack like we're seeing here with Kayla McCarthy picking the outside lane. We've seen drivers go to the inside lane instead through the turns, so a lot of different options you see her now working up the inside. Glad Kayla can get back on the track, as we'll see if she can top Lacey. No. Kayla McCarthy will stay in the second position on the speed charts here in qualifying with just 30 seconds left to go. It's like I was saying, glad to see Kayla back on track this week. She's been doing some off-track adminning the last couple of weeks, so good to see that number 24 back on track, searching for her third win of the season this week here from Phoenix. We'll be curious to see, but right now Landon Lacey sits on top of the chart by a quarter second in qualifying. That's very fast, but we saw him fast last week too, Patrick, at Nashville Superspeedway, and wasn't able to close that one out. Got caught up in some trouble, so we'll see what Lacey can do here tonight. As qualifying, you see it there, just getting wrapped up here, and we are getting set for 150 laps from Phoenix here in the Powerhouse Racing League. Again, want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Let us know in the chat if you're watching, who you're rooting on. And Patrick, do you want to take him through the starting order here tonight?
Absolutely there. All right, so tonight for the starting grid in lane 1, we have Landon Lacey starting out with Kayla McCarthy, the admin, number 2. Lucas Gortman, who's looking to try to get his lead back in the points tonight, starting in 3rd. Jeffrey Ramsdale, who raced really well last week, starting in the 4th position. Charles Evans, your current point leader, is in 5th. And tonight he will definitely be looking to retain that win to stay ahead. Jonathan Humphrey in 6th. We got Hunter Moody in 7th. Got Bart Hook in 8th. Dustin Rouse in 9th. Looks like Danny Puddin is starting in 10th. And Southsea is going to be our race control, I believe, tonight, and 11th. And Robert Babcock, we'll see if he decides to race tonight and get back on the track and try to give us a good run tonight. Mitchell, you want to give us the sponsors quick before we grid up?
Of course I do. I always love to go through the sponsors here. You see them on screen this week. Scotty Hottie Designs, sponsoring Powerhouse Racing League. Mid-Cities Air Conditioning and Heating. It's getting toward the summertime months now, so a little air conditioning definitely going to be nice depending on where you live. I know where I do. We could use it right about now. Then we have Napa Coastal Auto Parts, a good sponsor for the series. Butt Kicker as well. Oops. Butt Kicker, great audio equipment for sim racing and other things. Check them out as well. DC Designs, Charles Evans right now, points leader in position to win that DC Designs paint scheme at the end of the season. And then Cushman Designs going to make the trophy for whoever takes home the win, which again, currently held by that man right there, Charles Evans. He's looking good with quite a bit of a lead, but starting behind the 16 of Lucas Gortman. We will see if Gortman can make up some of those points here tonight, but the race is dwindling in this season for the Powerhouse Racing League. We only have 6 more after tonight's race at Phoenix, so tonight, very crucial to put in a good run if you want to get up there toward the end.
100%, and I couldn't agree with you more. And don't forget that Mid-Cities air conditioning. We are in Phoenix, so it might be a good idea. Get that thing cranked up because they're getting ready to heat up here, and we'll be under green flag after a quick caution lap. Pace cars pulling in, and Mitchell, take it away.
Let's see, what is our air temperature here? 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cool for Phoenix. I don't know what's up with that. Typically, it's a lot hotter here in Phoenix. I know it gets up into the hundreds sometimes, so that is going to be interesting again, but always could use the air conditioning. I know I'm using it here at my house, but through the not tri-oval, it turns 3 and 4 now. Is green flag in the air. Landon Lacey ducking down on the dog leg just like we talked about they might be doing here tonight. Headed off into turn 1. Kayla McCarthy with a good start as well. Going to get into the second position here in the early going as the field works their way out of turns 2. And I am going to apologize if I call that turns 3 and 4 because I'm still getting used to iRacing finally moving that start-finish line as they come around to complete lap 1. Good start for Landon Lacey. Battle going on, though, for the third position between a handful of drivers, including the number 4 machine driven by Jonathan Humphrey, the 16 of Lucas Gortman, and there is Charles Evans as well, but he's under fire from Hunter Moody as they come around to complete lap 2. They're going to get single filed out here, but good hard racing just like we talked about here at Phoenix.
And Hunter Moody following behind Lucas Gortman there is back in the hunt for the point lead. He did do quite well last week with a podium finish. He's looking to retain that run this week. You can see Jonathan Humphrey here. Yeah, he was kind of hung out there to drive with Lucas Gortman, hanging him on the inside. So, but they've kind of filed back in line, and now everybody's kind of getting settled in a little bit. But we're still starting to get loose here, and we're going to figure out if these drivers can hold on. But Landon taking off away with Kayla McCarthy hot on his tail. Hopefully she can reel him in and definitely not let him get away because he's running the hot lap tonight.
Yeah, good start for Landon Lacey. Kayla McCarthy right there. They've got a good gap back to Jeffrey Ramsdell, only 4 laps into this one. This battle right here is getting pretty good, though. Lucas Gortman in the 16 looking on the high line, trying to take it away from Jonathan Humphrey in the number 4 machine, who you see using all of that dog leg there. And you're seeing already the different lines here. Gortman running up high. Humphrey was there, 3 wide for just a second. Charles Evans peaked just up the middle, but Gortman got the good run, able to clear him, and that'll move Charles Evans and the 11 of Hunter Moody. Possibly we'll see if Moody can make the pass. Not quite yet on the number 4 of Jonathan Humphrey, who again going all the way down to the inside of the racetrack, but he seems to be struggling down in 1 and 2. Yeah, that is 1 and 2. I got it right, Patrick. I question myself, but that is now 1 and 2. That inside lane seems to just not quite have it when compared to the high line. Those drivers made quick work of them up there, so that is something to keep our eye on here as the race continues for sure.
Yeah, but there is no question. Looks like Jonathan Humphrey's having a little bit of trouble here. I don't know if he practiced a little bit trying to take that quick cut that most of these other drivers are taking, but he's having a heck of a time trying to hook here. He's kind of dropped back here about the 7th position, trying to stay in it. But Hunter Moody's pulling away, and he's having a heck of a time here, Mitchell.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the number 4 trying to get it working, dropped a couple spots there. Down 1 position from where he started, so great start to the race. Not so much here in the last handful of laps. You're seeing now the field kind of getting single filed out, running mostly along that inside lane. So it's interesting to see, Patrick, when they're trying to pass, they choose to run high, but when they're running single file, they go low. And kind of the reasoning for that, I have to imagine, is the number 6 kind of blinked out there for a bit. He is back, though, on the racetrack now. It's a little connection issues, but sometimes that inside lane will be faster when you can go all the way up to the wall on exit, but we'll see it sometimes when there's a car up there that prevents you from going all the way out there. That slows you down. So it's very technical how to go about passing, which is what the 16 of Lucas Gortman is trying to show us how to do right now on the 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdell, who had a strong run going last week at Nashville. 16 of Gortman, you see it here, chooses to go high, 97 low, but the 97 of Ramsdell looking strong on the inside lane.
Yes, Ramsdale very, very strong so far, and really hanging out there in the 3rd position. Nice, good, comfortable place. You know, he's kind of not too close, not too far behind, but, you know, a good place to hang out. I don't believe there are stages here tonight. We do have 150 laps, all 100% here. No stoppages unless we end up with a caution. But we can see that, yeah, Lucas Gortman definitely trying to put some work in here and stay in front of Charles Evans to keep the points chase going here pretty hard. But Jonathan Humphrey, checking back on him. He seems to be getting a little more courage here, and the car is starting to tack up a little bit. And he's I'm kind of keeping an eye on him because Hunter Moody's got his mirror full of him tonight. As they go around the turn here, he's really kind of trying to work that lane, and gets pretty close there and gets a good run, but just isn't able to carry that speed through. So we'll keep an eye on that and make sure see if Hunter Moody can hold him off here.
Yeah, Hunter Moody doing his best here on board with Jonathan Humphrey in that number 4 machine, kind of checking out how he gets around this racetrack. You see him cutting down onto the dog leg a little bit, down into 3 and 4, goes down to the inside, but you see how flat this racetrack is compared to some tracks we go to, especially at Daytona or even some 1.5 miles like Charlotte. Phoenix, very flat racetrack comparatively, so it can be very difficult on tires like we've said. I thought we had stage coming on 35 and 70 was what I had been under the impression of here tonight. I don't know if that's still the case. I haven't heard otherwise, but I'm working under that assumption. As we see the 11 almost had a little bit of contact with the number 4 behind him. Humphrey doing everything he can to try and work that car up. Meanwhile, though, up toward the front, we've had a little bit of a change of position still going on. Jeffrey Ramsdell got around Kayla McCarthy. So did Lucas Gortman. We have a couple other drivers trying to make that pass happen. You see Charles Evans up the inside, so McCarthy slipping a couple spots here while we were back looking at that other battle. Still fighting with Charles Evans in the outside lane as Landon Lacey scoots away.
Yeah, and I went and took a little peek at the replay there. Kayla McCarthy just caught the wall, and Jeffrey Ramsdell and Gortman took advantage of that. You can see her get pretty close to that wall there. So she may be having a little bit of tire issue here, running as hard as she is. But we'll see if this ends up being the same issue Landon has. As hard as they run, instead of conserving the tires, we're kind of getting a little greedy and picking up a whole lot of time here. But how long will the tires hold out here at Phoenix with as hot as it is on the track? But Kayla McCarthy, we know her from previous races. She's not one to count out. She will continue to churn along and not let this one go. we can see, there she goes down there at the bottom, pulls a little away from Charles Evans to destroy any chance of him getting any draft there and pick back up with Lucas Gortman and Jeffrey Ramsdale. Mitchell?
Yep, the battle continues, and there's two opposing philosophies you can take into a race like this when it comes to tires. You can either run them hard out of the gate, which is what it seems like Landon Lacey is doing, and hope you get a big enough gap built up that by the time your tires wear out a little bit, they don't have enough time behind you to run them back down, or you kind of sit on your tires, be a little patient, and hope they come in the long run. You saw the slide, though, from Lucas Gortman in the 16. Ramsdale fighting back, though, up the inside lane here, side by side into 3 and 4. I'm going to pop up on the top of the ticker the current track temp here, 104 degrees. That's pretty hot, Patrick. That is what the drivers are contending with here today. As you see Kayla McCarthy taking the look up the inside of Ramsdale, slides up the track. Good heads-up driving by Ramsdale, going up a little bit, diamonding the corner in a little bit of an untraditional fashion. You don't usually see drivers kind of diamond it off, running up on the high line. That's what Ramsdale did, and he's going to do it well because he is going to hold that position over Kayla McCarthy out of 4. Down the dog leg, there goes McCarthy, well up the inside of the dog leg, trying to get in front, but this battle continues on, and it seems like that inside lane coming in a little more, at least more than it was early on, as you see super close out of the corner for these drivers. So great racing they're putting on, as here comes Charles Evans. Good run for the 97 of Ramsdale.
Yes, 20 laps into this one so far, and Kayla McCarthy giving Ramsdale something to think about. Charles Evans doing a great job. There we go, a little bump trade, a little paint there. Robin's racing, right? As she runs toward the outside, she's going to try to work on him for a couple laps here and see if she can get Jeffrey to kind of loosen up here, because it's after the car contact with the wall. It's nice seeing her come back and then actually, make a good play here. Charles Evans will he's going to probably try to cut to the inside of her here and see if he can slow her down or try to block her and make a double pass here. So this fight for position 3, 4, and 5 is really where we need to be keeping our eye on, because these three right here are about to show you how it's done.
Yep, they're definitely putting on a good show for us, and we've seen Lucas Gortman kind of scooting away now in that number 16 as well. He's in the second position. Don't forget Landon Lacey, though, who's just dominating the race for the time being. But like you said, the battle is right here for the third position, where Jeffrey Ramsdale has his hands full trying to keep Kayla McCarthy and points leader and last week's race winner Charles Evans behind him. Evans and McCarthy both with 2 wins on the season here in the Powerhouse Racing League. And Ramsdale does not have a win yet on the season, so definitely putting on the strong run, though. And if you keep running as strong as Ramsdale does, eventually you're going to come across one of those wins. It's just, usually it's more difficult to get the first one than any others, and that's what we've seen here, as he is scooting away a little bit. The battle now coming to Kayla McCarthy from Charles Evans in the 53. Is going to look up the inside here into 3 and 4. That's going to give the 97 a little bit of a break as they continue to race as they cross the start finish.
Yes, and well, way out. Oh man, what a cut! And as it cuts way to the inside, taking away Kayla McCarthy's option of taking that cut at the same time. So the two of them looking right in each other's windows here, going around the turn. Coming up right close to the back stretch, as Kayla McCarthy has just enough speed to stay in front of him. But can Charles Evans' tires hold the inside line? As aside from that, with Lucas Gortman pulling away. Oh man, about 3.5 seconds behind Landon Lacey. So Landon Lacey doing a very good job.
Oh, that was close. I want to go back and look at that one. How close was Charles Evans to the back bumper of Danny Puddin in that number 98 machine? We've got to see that one. I'm sorry to take you away from the battle, but this was almost a disaster here. You see Puddin out of the pits, duck slow. Oh, Charles Evans, so close. Good heads up driving by him there. We're going to take you back live, though, where nothing has changed here in this battle. It's still Charles Evans running in 5th, Kayla McCarthy 4th, Jeffrey Ramsdell 3rd, and they've got a little bit more separation between the three of them now as Landon Lacey continues to pull away out front as well. He stretched 4 seconds over Lucas Gortman in the 16, so Gortman trying his best to run him down, but Lacey seems to have it here in the early going. Again, about 7 laps away from stage number 1 here at Phoenix. That'll give him a chance to re-rack him, try it again. As Kayla McCarthy doing something I haven't seen too many drivers do, using a little bit of that apron, going below the yellow line in 1 and 2. Perfectly legal here. Goes high in 3 and 4, trying to do the opposite of what Ramsdell's doing right now. And again, cuts really low. I think she might have the run here into turn number 1, side by side for the position. Oh, McCarthy slides up.
Oh, man, and Kayla McCarthy's like we were saying before. Just don't know if the tires will hold that outside line. Diving in as Jeffrey Ramsdell holds it together. What a great piece of driving there by Jeffrey. And Charles Evans takes the opportunity and passes her as well. So this is really going to put her on the back foot here, trying to keep up as we come down with about five to go before the break.
Yes, Charles Evans diving up the inside, using that inside under the yellow line to try and get that car to turn, and it does turn a little bit better for the viewers at home. That gives it a little bit more grip. That's why they're going down there, but you see the 97 got a little bit out of sorts, I guess we should say, going into that corner. That's going to open the door for Kayla McCarthy again up the inside, side by side into 1. McCarthy actually going to have the nose, slides up. Oh, the 97 is there, said I don't think so. Jeffrey Ramsdell drives right back around the outside lane, but put Charles Evans now up to 3rd, grabbing those oh so important stage points again, trying to fend off Lucas Gortman for the points lead. But right now, Gortman not going to be your stage winner. If it stays as is, it is going to be the 6 of Landon Lacey, who's putting on a clinic so far at Phoenix Raceway, led since the drop of the green flag, and doing a great job out front right now. We'll take a lap on board with him while we can, because that's my favorite thing ever to do. We'll see how he kind of runs around this racetrack. There was a lap with Landon Lacey, excuse me, Patrick. But like you said, he's getting off the gas a lot, and that's what it has to do. You have to do, especially on the long runs here. It just, the off-throttle time gets higher and higher, and you're wanting to use more and more of that brake, but it's so easy to burn the tires up, especially as the run goes on, as our leader is coming to 1 lap to go in the stage this time by as Charles Evans has also now scooted away from the battle, which is just now between Ramsdell and McCarthy.
Yes, Ramsdell and McCarthy. And at about lap 32, we're 32 going into 34, Kayla McCarthy made a very aggressive move and kind of kissed the back of his bumper there, got Jeffrey a little out of sorts. And definitely let him know she's there, because they're trying to get these stage points going on here, and the placing for the restart. And how they go down pit road. But it's these two, I think this is going to be a battle we're going to be kind of tumbling with the rest of the night. I just hope the two of them can hold out. So as I think, there we go. That should be the end of stage 1. So fortunately, boy, because some of these guys are slipping and sliding around, tires and fuel have got to be a must here, Mitchell.
Oh yeah, 35 laps at Phoenix. Plenty of wear and tear on the tires. But for Landon Lacey, he will pick up stage win number 1 here on the night in the Powerhouse Racing League from Phoenix. As he blinks out a little bit, that's something I've noticed he has been doing tonight, so hopefully it doesn't become too much of an issue in that number 6 camp, because he certainly has the car to beat, at least in the early going, it would seem. Lucas Gortman picks up second place in the stage. Charles Evans third. Jeffrey Ramsdell fourth. Kayla McCarthy brings it home fifth. And then behind them, it was the 4 of Jonathan Humphrey ended up sixth. Hunter Moody in the FedEx number 11, seventh. Dustin Roos in the number 12 finishes eighth. Bart Hook ninth. And Danny Puddin, he's been fighting that car. I think he might have taken it back into the garage. Not quite sure. He's 6 laps down at the moment. Either way, though, pit stops have begun here from Phoenix. And here you get a look at the curved pit road Phoenix has. It's a bit unconventional, just like this racetrack is. You see him turning through the pit road, not something we typically do. There's only a handful of tracks that do that, Patrick. That's just another challenge they have to contend with as well tonight.
Yeah, challenges aren't all tracks, but this each one is a little bit different. And hearing over the radio, Danny Puddin, he will be out for the night. He's having some trouble, and you saw how Chris Evans almost got into the back of him there that one lap. So I think he's decided to go ahead and take that car to the garage and try better luck next week, unfortunately. So shout out there to Danny Puddin. Hopefully see you next week there, bud. But definitely not his race tonight. So, but it looks like everybody come back onto the track. Looks like we got Landon Lacey back in the front with Lucas Gortman. Looks like we got 97 of Mr. Jeffrey Ramsdale. We got, and who else have we got? That's going to be our top 3. So they're going to probably warm it up here for a couple more laps, and then we'll be back under green flag racing.
Yep, a little change in the pit cycle. Not too many, but Jeffrey Ramsdell got around Charles Evans, so he will restart from the 3rd position. I'm not seeing any others. We'll wait for scoring to update as they go around the line. This time doesn't look like it, so the 97 picks up a spot in the pit cycle. That'll be your only change here during the stage 1 pit stops. Fade 9 out in the chat saying, here's your donut. Well, thank you very much. I'll take a donut. I had a donut today, actually. This is pretty good.
Donuts.
We'll take a little donut up here in the broadcast booth. Anything to help us get through. Not that we need much help, because the racing always great here in the Powerhouse Racing League. They always do a great job here on Saturday nights. Next week, let's see where they go, Patrick. They are headed, we go from Phoenix all the way to the super speedway. I think it's a super speedway, at least of Michigan. Michigan, a fun track, fun in these ARCA cars. We'll see a lot of drafting. That track will for sure put on a good race for us next Saturday at the same time here on 10-4 Broadcasting. Hope you'll join us then, but we have plenty more racing to get through before we have to worry about that.
In Michigan, you can go 4 wide at that track and a whole lot of speed. So, in these ARCA cars, you'll probably see upwards of 180 miles an hour at that track. So, but tonight it's Phoenix. So we're going to be fighting Phoenix tonight and see who can survive here tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to go up to Michigan while we're still at my favorite track, Phoenix Raceway. Thank you to Powerhouse Racing League for throwing the best track in NASCAR on the schedule. Not that I have any connections with Phoenix Raceway. I just love this place. Personally, as the pace car heads down pit road, Landon Lacey going to be leading the field to the green flag on this restart over the 16 of Lucas Gortman. We'll see if he can do anything this time. Started last time in the 3rd position, now on the front row. We'll see if not last week's race winner, but the only 3-time winner this season has anything for Landon Lacey as the green flag is in the air, and Lacey is off the line very well once again. No challenge so far. Battle for second already underway once again. Jeffrey Ramsdell looking up the inside of Lucas Gortman for that 2nd place position. Gortman fighting on the outside, side by side behind him as well. Kayla McCarthy and Charles Evans fighting it out as they head through 3 and 4. Still side by side. Great racing as Humphrey also looking to make something happen back there.
Oh, man, and Humphrey, we're definitely working on Kayla McCarthy there. I see that. That's for daggone sure. But, man, if you look at Charles Evans here, working the inside, he's definitely loving those fresh tires. To Jeffrey Ramsdale, giving a little bit of that door draft to pull around. Excellent move as Lucas Gortman is in second place, and Landon leading the race yet again, and he is half a second ahead. Lucas Gorman keeping that loud pedal down to the metal. Do not let him get away. With Jeffrey Ramsdale third, we got Charles Evans in fourth, and Kayla McCarthy once again in the top five, not giving up as the points race continues.
One thing I noticed that last time around was the 53 of Charles Evans was absolutely wheeling that race car. I saw his hands working there in the inside. He was all kinds of sideways underneath the 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdale, trying to make the pass happen. Didn't happen that last time he attempted it. We'll see if he get it there, but Evans, I can tell he's driving right now, but you see him and Gortman both up there working the high line. Kayla McCarthy was looking underneath Charles Evans. Not going to make it happen, but Evans going to try and pass Ramsdale into turn number 3. Shoots up the inside, slides up just a little bit. Ramsdale gave him some room, though, and they keep it going straight. Ramsdale should get a run off that outside lane, but you see Evans able to cut the dog leg, and they will be side by side. And one of the most hotly debated issues in terms of Phoenix, other than is the dog leg good or bad, because I know some people love it, some people hate it, is there an advantage to going down below the line? And I think NASCAR a while ago did some research and said no, it's exactly even, but it's still hotly debated if there's any kind of advantage going down there. You see drivers, though, tonight doing it as much as they can. Evans able to complete the pass. Now McCarthy trying to challenge the 97 of Ramsdale's again, I think briefly 3 wide.
Yes, and Kayla McCarthy getting a little bit there on the apron as kind of loses the front end there. Veteran move, kind of checking up, let it go, and let the fight continue. We'll deal with it another time. But you could also see the same way a couple laps ago with Charles Evans using that brake. He dove in hot. Jeffrey Ramsdale moved up, and these racers have been racing alongside each other for a while, so you kind of get a good communication, and it's not really bumping and banging and smashing people on the walls as you would see on some. This is the iRacing League, and they do expect very professional drivers here with the Powerhouse Racing League, and what you see tonight is just absolute driving skill and experience of being able to handle these cars on a hot track and keep them from really putting each other into the wall tonight here, Mitchell.
Yeah, they always do a great job here in the Powerhouse Racing League. Top-tier drivers always put on a great show, never disappointed. I've seen some of the most fun races I've seen here in the Powerhouse Racing League, so I've enjoyed a lot being up here in the booth for it. As right now, the 6th of Lacey stretching it out to about 0.8 of a second. Charles Evans is trying to get up to the 16 of Lucas Gortman. You see him cutting into the dog leg quite a bit, trying to make it happen, but everybody's got a little bit of space between each other right now, so that gives them a chance to try and save those tires up just a little bit for this run here, going to lap 70 before the stage here. So 21 laps is what we have until stage number 2 comes out, so they've got a little bit of time to gather things up and races. I want to get the lap time comparison right here to see if Charles Evans, yes he is, he's pulling away from that 97 of Ramsdale, who actually got into the wall slightly. I think you see him duck down low or got loose or something, but you see Evans just pulling in last lap a little bit on Gortman. We'll see this time pulls in again, so Charles Evans, and you can see it now, he is right there behind the 16 of Gortman, so I expect a battle to be coming from these two very soon. And again, these are the two racing for the season championship at the moment.
But with Landon Lacey going as far as they are, in your opinion, Mitchell, what would be really to kind of run Landon down? I mean, he's now away by about 1.1, almost 1.2 seconds here. I mean, would it be a good idea for the two of them to kind of, kind of put the points aside and help push each other to try to kind of catch up here and give Landon a run for his money?
It's a difficult question to answer, Patrick. If I were, let's say, Charles Evans here, running third behind the 16 of Gortman, I am going to race him very hard, as you see him doing right now. Charles Evans looks up the inside, going down low on the dogleg side by side into 3. I would do exactly what he's doing right now. Try to take that position away. Maybe I can beat the 6 in pit road at the next caution or pull something. I think you are looking at that stage 2 caution to either whip some strategy out or just be better than him on the restart is the way I'd want to go, because he is already a second and a half out. We're not going to run him down if I think that car in front of me is faster, and we saw Charles Evans run Gortman down, so I would love to try and get around him here. We've seen tonight that's difficult because these drivers here are all so good, so difficult to pass. So we will see as we have a little 3-car battle forming up now. Charles Evans also been caught by the 97 of Ramsdell. So the 16 of Gortman, we saw this last stage as well. He was involved in that battle we ended up watching to the end and then scooted away later, which kind of leads me to think the 16 of Gortman more of a long-run car here tonight, as he's under a lot of pressure from these drivers right now. I'll be curious to see if he has the same kind of long-run pace he did in the last stage.
Yes, and you can see that Charles Evans might be checking up a little bit. I do notice they have picked up 2/10 on him this upcoming lap, but man, yeah, Landon Lacey, whatever he's doing on that stretch, that front stretch there, where that finish line. I mean, they go right within 1.3 of catching up with him, and then he takes off with another 0.3 of a second. So he must have the groove in this track and know exactly how the car's rocking and everything else to get this thing pushed through. So I probably would have to agree with you here. On you saying Charles Evans passing Gortman here is kind of get those stage points and higher in the finishing here, and kind of taking a solid second. But Jeffrey Ramsdell hanging out there in the 4th position. he's not gonna let him get away with it either. So. Yeah, we'll have to see here at the end of the stage, and we'll get everybody kind of bunched up again. But I'm curious. I'm interested in how you said pit strategy is what kind of pit strategy would you run? I mean, right now, honestly, I almost think it's suicide not taking 4 tires.
Well, I've had people say that, and I've whipped out 2-tire strategies a couple times in my iRacing career. Managed to pull the races out of somewhere, either lucky cautions or just a great pit stop, but that is very difficult to do here at Phoenix. It will loosen up the car a lot, and again, it's difficult to say with not knowing exactly how these cars are driving tonight. If you were someone a little further back, hey, if you want to go challenge for it, I know that usually people don't appreciate it, as you see the 24 up into the wall just a little bit through 3 and 4. I think Kayla McCarthy struggling a little bit with that right front tire this run. We see her not quite up here with these drivers here this run. Like I was saying, it's a very difficult strategy call, and if you're not one of these front drivers, typically people don't, in this case Landon Lacey wouldn't really appreciate if you took 2 tires and you weren't really up here running that battle, but sometimes that's the strategy. I would love to see it. I don't know if they'll do it. But again, maybe just a little less fuel, something like that, to try and get him. But I think we might have green flag pit stops. I'm not completely sure. They do run 50% fuel tanks here in the Powerhouse Racing League compared to what we would normally see. So, Patrick, I would not love to be one of these crew chiefs out here if it comes down to that kind of call. But as we can see, you're not beating him on track right now, so I think the call has to come through some kind of pit strategy to hopefully get yourself out in front.
Yeah, with pits, whether to determine whether to go 2 tires, 4 tires. I mean, it definitely give Landon a kind of chop up here. You get Bart Hook up there or Hunter Moody kind of dicing it up there with 2 tires, but taking a little less fuel, man. I thought we saw that last week with old poor Robert Babcock dropping half a lap short of the finish. I mean, that's heartbreaking. But it's all the gamble. It's not just driver skill and racing, but it's also you got to choose in pit road what you want to do. Whether we're gonna take the tires, not take tires, take fuel. And repair damage, because I know Kayla's kind of kissed off the wall a couple of times here, so I think that's probably why she dropped back there on the original pit stop. I mean, a smart move. I mean, we got a couple stages here, and last thing you want to do is be messing around with the aerodynamics with so much so much farther to go. But we're about 11 laps away from the next stage break, and yeah, and hopefully we can get them kind of bunched back together here. But the positions 2, 3, and 4 here are really kind of settling down here. Everybody's kind of following along, trying not to let Landon get away. But he is ahead by 2.5 seconds. So he may have another stage win here, unless he has some freak accident, where he clips off the wall. But Mitchell, I mean, this might be Landon's race.
Well, we are approaching the halfway point. He certainly seems to have it figured out at the moment. Like we've said, his biggest issue tonight is the fact that he's been blinking a little bit. He's blinked 23 times so far in this race, so that is definitely the biggest struggle coming from the 6th camp. But you talked about last week's race, forgot to mention it. Robert Babcock in the number 9, who I don't believe made the start here tonight, he did not, almost had him 1 lap short on fuel, would have pulled the pit strategy call of the season to steal that race from Charles Evans. It was a heartbreaker for the 9. Worked out for this man here, the 53 of Charles Evans, running 3rd so far here tonight. But like we said, that was a nail-biter of a race last week, in case you missed it here on 10-4 Broadcasting. It was a great race from Nashville Super Speedway. My first time watching a race there, actually, at that track. I didn't watch it when NASCAR went there, but I had a ton of fun watching these drivers in the Powerhouse Racing League go to battle there last week. And same thing here at Phoenix tonight. They've done a great job, but like you had kind of discussed, they've settled down a little bit here. We see the 97 of Ramsdell catching up with Charles Evans here in the 53 a little bit, coming to take 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Once they finish this stage, it'll be green flag to the end. So again, this is where you're racing for your position going into the pit cycles. I think the 61 of Bart Hook got stopped there, and that'll bring out an early caution here. Curious what happened there. He just kind of slid to a stop there through turns 3 and 4. I wonder if he had some kind of mechanical failure on board that number 61. We'll go try and dial it up for you here quickly on our 10-4 Broadcasting replay, and getting word from the production truck that is, I think, what happened here to the 61 of Bart Hook out of turn 4. Bam into the wall, bam into the inside wall, and that is a torn up race car for Bart Hook.
Tough break tonight, bud. Tough break. Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to get it in there and then be able to get a quick fix. I do believe they have 1 faster pair here for tonight, so he should be able to hopefully kind of patch it back together and get it back out there. So this could be something for Landon Lacey to think about. If Bart Hook goes in there and decides to take a faster pair, 4 tires right now, he may be able to stay out during the stage ending and be in the lead. So we'll have to see how he plays that, or if he's damaged it so bad he can't, he may have to take it to the garage. So we'll keep an eye on that here, Mitchell.
Well, from this look, it almost looks like he lost steering when he hit the wall, and that might have been a mechanical failure that caused him to go up into the turn 2 wall in the first place. As I hear thunder roaring outside my house, that's never good. Here, I'm sure we're doing okay, but yeah, the 61, just hard contact. It looked to me like a mechanical failure on board Bart Hook's car there, as he is sitting in the pits getting repaired. I think he had to get towed in, so 2 laps down at the moment. I don't believe in contention anymore for this race. Race out of pit road, though, looking to see if anything exciting happened. The 6 of Landon Lacey is in turn 1. The rest of these drivers, turns 3 and 4. I have a feeling maybe some things did get a little bit switcherooed there in that pit cycle. Did you see anything abnormal, I guess, with that one? Lucas Gortman now scored the race leader. Landon Lacey drops into the 8th position.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, he pulls in the pit. You can see the tires go on, and then it's a late exit. Everybody else kind of took off, and he's kind of hanging out there. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, everything looked good. I don't see anything here, Mitchell.
That is an interesting one. Excuse me for the little voice crack there as well, folks. That's the allergies talking. We are at lap 71, though, so that was stage number 2. I believe it will be here, as the stage was at lap 70. I don't know exactly how they're going to score that here in the Powerhouse Racing League in terms of who got which stage points under this stage 2 break. But from here on out, well, not necessarily green flag till the end, but at least no more stage cautions. So the only breaks in the action we will get are for racing incidents as pace car lights out. 1 lap to go here from Phoenix. New race leader, the 16 of Lucas Gortman, Charles Evans second. We will see how this goes. This is something we have yet to see here tonight.
Yeah. And Lucas Gortman and Charles Evans, 1 and 2 in your points lead, so they will start in your front row. But front row, we do have Butt Kicker, Mid-Cities Air Conditioning Heating, Scotty Hottie Designs. We got Cushman and Sons, DC Designs, and Napa Auto Parts here in the Powerhouse Racing League. You're here with 10-4 Broadcasting as we get ready to go back on the green flag.
Yep, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing to start the final stage here in this race. They're early on the gas pedal already for the 16 of Lucas Gortman. They are racing. Good start for the 16 Evans, fighting though up the inside, not giving up on it as here comes the 6 car trying to cut his way through traffic already. Is a good start for Gortman, but here comes Evans, dives it up the inside. What a sin that was, trying to get it to stick, all kinds of loose again. The 53 not quite able to keep up with Lucas Gortman, but man, what a move that was. And for the 6 of Landon Lacey, already up into as he's into Ramsdell goes around.
Oh, man. Yeah, it looked like Landon Lacey kind of was right in the meat of that sandwich as the Ramsdell in front, and it looked like Hunter Moody might have bumped him from the rear end there and kind of pushed him up front. I'm not sure. We might have to get a replay on that there, Mitchell.
Yeah, we definitely are dialing up the replay here. This looked like what we call an accordion situation wreck here. You see him running. The 97 actually got loose up the inside. The 6 was just kind of there. Had nowhere to go but into that rear bumper. Couldn't really get it checked up anymore, I believe, is the cause of that when he was just trying to get a little below the yellow line like we talked about, try to help that car turn. And unfortunately for the 97 of Ramsdell, strong run here tonight as you saw wiggle out of the 53 of Evans just as we went into this replay. Down into 1, you'll see him just kind of lose control of the race car. There, gets a little loose, and there's the tap. But you see, he might have had that one saved, Patrick. Difficult to say, but either way, that puts us under caution for the second time. I'll dial up a replay of Landon Lacey's on board as well. But yeah, that is our, I believe, second caution for on-track incident. First involving multiple cars, although it was the single car spin.
Yeah, and closer look, it looked like Hunter Moody was clean. So hey, good job on him making sure keeping that car clean. But yeah, hard run there. But it's interesting to see that some of these turns that you can go on the apron because the vehicles require a little more rubber on the track for the tires to stick and things like that. But if you decide to take on the apron, how you saw Jeffrey Ramsdell take it, it's actually on the apron, it almost turns into glass, as you got a super sticky hot spot up top where the rest of the cars are running, and then when you get down onto the apron, it's slick. There's nothing there, and unfortunately, when tires start wearing down, the marbles come off, the little chunks of rubber, they end up on the bottom, and then you're ice skating. So I think even with fresh tires there, there was no way he was going to hold that. With Landon getting so close, 1-1 to kind of push to get up front here. But that was a heck of a launch on the restart by Lucas Gortman to definitely get a good pull away from Charles Evans. But he's going to be I think he's going to try to set him up again, so that way we can. That way Charles Evans is once again kind of in the chase. But Landon now hanging out in the 4th position, I believe, and he wants that lead back. I assure you of that, Mitchell.
Yeah, Landon Lacey up 4 positions already since the last restart, so that's 6 on a mission. But that was the other thing about, you want to beat him. The best way to do it is to get out in front of him, stick him in that dirty air, and just hope it can hold him back. But like we've said, the 6 of Landon Lacey's just been on rails so far here tonight. Occasionally blinks off the rails, but for the most part, just done a fantastic job driving the number 6, but now he's gonna have to work for it. They're not gonna hand him this win here in the Powerhouse Racing League. All these drivers want to get into victory lane. Lacey, I believe, has won once on the season. I don't believe we broadcasted that race. I'm going to check that right now. Yes, he has. Landon Lacey, 1 win on the season, looking for a second. But like we said, Lucas Gortman, a guy who knows all about winning up here. Same with Charles Evans here, also winner this season. As the iRacing pace car is down pit road, Gortman took the inside lane this time on the loud pedal. Better start for him this time. Gets well out of Evans. As Evans already under fire from 2 lanes as 3 wide. Kayla McCarthy takes them into turn no 1.
Oh man, and 4 just in the bad position there, hanging out toward the center, but he's now going to ride toward the top of Jonathan Humphrey, hanging out toward the outside and kind of now marching toward the back. But Jeffrey Ramsdale been running up front all night, so he's going to try to march his way back up, with Kayla McCarthy making a very, very aggressive move as we can move up front. Here we got Landon back in the lead. Lucas Gortman trying to hold him off of that outside lane. Can they stick? And looks like Lucas Gortman is able to hold that outside line, but not, just enough speed to kind of crank out here, as Charles Evans trying to work with him and give him a good push, as Landon's been owning this track all night. So those two definitely trying to keep Landon kind of staying his butt in the back as they're cutting toward the inside, and you see how that works there, putting him just the nose ahead and diving into turn 1.
Yeah, he's definitely driving up the inside. It just seems like, especially in 1 and 2, the outside seems to be a little bit preferred. Down in 3 and 4, it's a different story. I feel like for the most part, the inside has prevailed a little bit better down in these corners tonight, but they both continue to fight side by side. Charles Evans is there in 3rd. Kayla McCarthy up to 4th now. And if you're in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for here. Who do you want to win this race here tonight as they continue battling side by side for the race lead? The 16 held him down just a little bit more on exit that time, and that's exactly what you got to do, and you see it there. The 6 lost a lot of ground. Now he's going to have to fight Charles Evans for 2nd. Great job defending that position for Lucas Gortman.
Lucas Gortman taking off, and now we're going to see if he can hold him off. Oh man, as Charles Evans gets to the outside, kind of keeps him there and trying to do the same kind of work that Lucas Gortman's been working, but he might have to dial back and kind of hang out. But taking the inside lane may be the smart move, as you can see here. Can the tires hold yet again here in Phoenix?
Dial it back is not something a lot of race car drivers like to have in their vocabulary. You want to race every single lap, and that is what they're doing right now. But remember, we don't have any more guaranteed cautions going to the end of this race, so these tires now, you could have to nurse them to the end. Again, I don't know how long you can get on fuel. Presumably, I think they have another pit stop for fuel. They typically do in the Powerhouse Racing League, but I don't know that for a fact going into this one. So with that said, nursing the tires is very important, but also you want to get that track position. Right now, the 16 is at the advantage because he controls the tempo of the race. He is in the clean air. The rest of them have to deal with that disturbed, turbulent air behind the 16. That just gets worse and worse as you go back to Kayla McCarthy, who is pulled away quite a bit from Jeffrey Ramsdale there, running 4th. You see Charles Evans still trying to go down on that dog leg, but the 6 slowly creeping his way back up to Gortman.
And race control definitely going to keep an eye on Landon Lacey's blinking. Now, unfortunately, here with iRacing, blinking does kind of take effect with the connection issues and things like that. But as another fellow iRacer, you got to kind of guess where he's going to be. If you disappear off the screen, if I'm setting up for a turn or a block or whatever, and your car kind of disappears, that's really gonna ruin somebody's race. If all of a sudden you're somewhere he doesn't think you are and kind of get bumped around. So hopefully this doesn't play up on Lucas Gortman of Charles Evans too much here. I mean, I know Landon's racing real well, but I hope his computer kind of straightens that up. But we got Lucas Gortman in first, Landon Lacey in second, Charles Evans third, Kayla McCarthy in fourth, and we got Jeffrey Ramsdale marching his way back up to round out your top 5.
Well, the blinking hasn't appeared to be too much of an issue for the 6. It's just a little sporadic thing. As someone who's had that issue before, it is very frustrating because it's completely out of your control that it happens. But the 6 car, Landon Lacey, not letting it mess him up, we should say, as he tried to get under the 16, all kinds of squirrely, held onto it and is still there pressuring it, and these two have raced themselves away from Charles Evans in third. And like we said, the tempo is so important at a track like this. It's very hard to understand that you don't necessarily want to go out there and run fast laps every single lap. It's very contrary to what you would think, but you want to pace yourself. You don't want to burn the tires up by running too fast too early. And the thing that happens when you have a driver on your bumper like this, like the 6 of Lacey is to Gortman, you saw how fast they pull away from Evans. The fact that the 16 is getting pressured, that pushes that tempo a little faster. The pace of this race increases as they start fighting, and Charles Evans back here in third, able to manage his tires, and maybe in the longer run, that 53, watch for him to have a little more speed because he's back here running his own tempo, whereas these two having to crank up the pace as they battle. As the 6 looking underneath of him, I think he is there. Yes, he is, barely if he is, but the 16 in the high lane just seems to have it. The 6 of Lacey just hasn't been able to make it happen on the inside thus far, but he's certainly giving it a shot here into 3.
Yeah, Lucas Gortman trying to hold him off, but Landon Lacey's been waiting a long time for this one. About 10 laps he's been riding behind him, and I think he's getting a little sick and tired of looking at his rear bumper as he makes that very, very aggressive move toward the inside. As they're going to crunch up, but Lucas Gortman showing that the outside line is better, holding in front, cut back in front, and then he may be back on the defense, but right now both of them full offense to stay in front. Keep this thing alive. I mean, these two right here, no one is given an inch. But I'm Landon Lacey, trying not to bump him. That you can see that draft. It's kind of picking up the front end of his car, and he's sliding around. But yeah, Lucas Gortman may have to change his race line to stay way out in front. But as the two of these battle, Charles Evans is starting to reel him in now. So now he's got him to just he's only behind by just over half a second. So. You don't count him out, but he's watching the show in front of him, Mitchell.
Yeah, Evans in a great spot, I think, right now. I did want to highlight this battle going on back here a little further in the pack. Jonathan Humphrey in the number 4 machine just got around Hunter Moody in the 11. Dustin Roos in the number 12 machine also there. They're battling for 6th, and this has been a great fight these drivers have been putting on back here for this position. But like we've been doing here, keeping it up at this battle for the lead, because the 6 still there, and you see him going to the high line this time by the 16, able to cover it off though, but you see he's just searching for some clean air through the corners. He needs just a little bit extra to find his way around the 16 of Gortman, who's been so good this season. Comes into tonight needing to make up quite a few points on Charles Evans. Wants to do it with a win here, but the 6 car now making him work for it here for sure. But you can see just how dominant the 6 was earlier in the race. Now that he's stuck behind a car, that 6 car, he definitely looks good, but not the blistering, dominating pace we've seen. That's how important being out front in clean air can be at a track like Phoenix, and really anywhere.
Yes, and Lucas Gortman, if he can pull this off, I believe this will be his 4th win of the season. And having a chat with the admins, they couldn't be happier with his performance tonight. Of course, Kayla McCarthy would like to get up there and kind of give him a run for his money, but she's been playing race control the past few races, so maybe a little rusty here tonight. But she's going to push through and get on through. The only thing she's recommending is, man, she would love to see more people out here racing, giving Lucas Gortman and Landon Lacey a run for their money. If we can, she would like to see 10 more drivers. So if you guys are looking to come out here as a fellow iRacer, I race myself, come out here to the Powerhouse Racing League and try to burn up some of these tires, because these guys they like a good challenge, and so and if you're good at iRacing, I like a good challenge too. So come out here to Phoenix, or if you can sign up, you might be able to get into that Michigan race this upcoming week.
Yeah, I know they're definitely would love to have you here. We'd love to watch you race here on TED4 Broadcasting as well. Always a ton of fun here on Saturday nights in the Powerhouse Racing League, and you're still seeing it out on track. Super competitive. You mentioned Kayla McCarthy. Very glad to have Kayla back on track. She has been doing race control the last couple of weeks and certainly has had a strong running here tonight at Phoenix. Just the long run pace this time seems to kind of be the downfall for the 24 at the moment. But again, these drivers not worrying about long run pace at the moment. They're worrying about keeping themselves at the front, or if you're the 6 car, getting up to the front. But again, Lucas Gortman in control at the moment, has been getting pressure from the 6 for the last 20 or so laps and has done a great job not cracking to it. The 16 still holding his line there, runs from the wall, goes down low toward the yellow line, and he's really making it work. And there you see the 6 blink in and out just a little bit. There he is, still on track. But yeah, the 16 of Gortman just doing all that he seems to need to do at the moment, on board now with the number 6 machine of Landon Lacey through the corner. You see the difference in the line and how Lacey gains a little bit through the corner. Gortman on the high line, though, you see him pull away on the straightaway. That's kind of the difference. Is do you want to run high and build up the straightaway speed, or on the inside and have the shorter lane through the corner? And for now, it seems like that outside lane prevailing.
Yes, and it is kind of racer's choice. I mean, we did see Landon Lacey in the first 2 stages. He was taking kind of the same aggressive driving, with the inside lane, and didn't seem to really have any tire issues. As you can see, won most of those by 5 to 6 seconds. But with Lucas Gortman in front of him, Landon's really having to kind of change what he's doing here and kind of see if he can work around him. He's never had to work with draft so far tonight, so it's I wonder if this is going to be any kind of a tire conservation race here in a little bit, because Charles Evans, I think he's trying to play it safe, hanging out here in third, but Landon Lacey, he's having his hands full, definitely trying to power around Lucas Gortman here. But in your opinion, you in this, do you bide your time? I mean, seeing that we got just under 50 laps to go before we got a checkered flag out, and as he might just answer for me, is Landon Lacey making his move toward the inside. But oh yeah, Lucas Gortman able to hold that outside line and pull on around, Mitchell.
It's very tricky to find that balance between needing to push for that pass and trying to save those tires up. Again, just under 50 laps to go in this race here at Phoenix is plenty of time for those tires to wear a lot more. And every time that 6 goes for a pass, he puts a little more heat in those tires. And as the run goes on, that just burns them out a little more gradually. So I think over time, the 6 car is going to start to burn that right front tire in particular a little more, and it's going to be more difficult for him to get that car to turn. But it hasn't been an issue so far. He's done a great job managing it for the time being, and we've seen him pressuring Gortman every lap. It looks like he's going to go try and make a move, and I think he had almost thought about trying to cut to the outside lane there. The 16 had to close the door pretty quick, but Gortman just doing what he's doing, and as long as he keeps it consistent, his tires are going to be okay. And typically there's a slight difference in tire wear based on where you're running, but I don't really think we've seen that here tonight at Phoenix as much, at least from up here in the booth. I feel like it's been more even in terms of which lane wears tires more, which is what you want exactly. But yeah, the 16 is just burning him up a little more than Gortman is right now. And long run, that is going to hurt him, I think, more than the 16 and more than the 53 who he's racing around right now.
Yeah, new 6 right there, probably about turn 3 there. He got a little loose, so those tires is definitely starting to kind of melt a little more than he wants. Looks like Hunter Moody might have gone ahead and taken tires, go ahead and cut his losses, take that lap down, but he will be running faster than everybody else. So let's see how he slices and dices through the track and kind of navigates his way through here. But we did discuss how them drafting and taking these turns, and if they're staying out front, you get the nice clean air, and if you're in the back, you get dirty air. So if you don't know anything about racing, if you're fighting a dirty air situation, race cars enjoy the nice cold clean air. It makes it more dense and the engine runs better. If you have a dirty air situation, such as following in the draft or whatnot, you're now starting to suck up exhaust fumes from the guy in front of you. And exhaust being, of course, used gases that were produced by the engine. The engine doesn't run so good, so you depend on the draft to kind of keep you held up. So as you can see, Landon Lacey kind of diving back here, letting his engine temperatures kind of come down, and all of a sudden you'll start seeing more power come back to that engine, come back alive. So he'll be able to kind of push back forward, but staying kind of really behind him here is going to be a play as we're coming up with just about 40 to go here, Mitchell.
Yeah, Gorman got the edge there through the lap car, but the 6 charging right back up to him. Again, we also see that with giving your tires a chance to cool down before you go right back onto the attack. On that race car in front of you doesn't hurt at all. Note, though, Charles Evans has been down pit road in that number 53 machine. He's on fresh tires, so I do think we are probably looking at these drivers up here making a pit stop with Charles Evans coming down. I'm surprised, though, they've waited this long. If that is the case, I feel like advantage goes to Evans the longer they stay out, assuming they have to come down for fuel and 4 tires. So we will see how long they continue to race here. As pit entrance here, very difficult to hit at Phoenix. They have to peel off. Well, we'll see it when one of them does it. They have to turn left, and there's that white line underneath the yellow line. That's your pit entrance target here at the Phoenix Raceway. But the 6 car this whole run has been stuck right here behind Lucas Gortman, and I'm thinking at this point, we talked about it earlier with how do you pass the 6, you use pit strategy. Well, I take it all back. There goes the 6 of Landon Lacey getting around Lucas Gortman. Huge run out of nowhere. Maybe this is why Gortman coming down pit road this time by. That leaves the 6 out all by his lonesome there. Has been running around other drivers all this run. Patrick now out there by himself. Kayla McCarthy stayed out as well, but we are seeing a lot of different strategy in terms of when drivers want to pit.
Yes, and actually a really smart move there by Lucas Gortman. I kind of kept an eye on his pit times or his lap times, and he had fallen off by almost a second and a half. Now, he has run the fastest lap here tonight, but it looks like Charles Evans just picked that up after he got his nice set of fresh tires there. But he had fallen off by about a second and a half, and you saw Landon Lacey hang back there for a little bit, and then he actually was picking up almost 4/10 a lap. So you saw in the last 3 laps, he kind of catches up, and Lucas Gortman, just go ahead and let Landon Lacey around, come down to pit. Let's go ahead and get those tires, and let's get back out there and start running on the fresh tires. There's no sense in risking your race on a set of worn out tires. So yeah, everybody going down. You can see Landon Lacey coming down, your race leader, coming down for pit. But we'll see if he can hold the lead for that long, and then back out, and back under green flag there, people.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, and this is what I had mentioned earlier, they waited 5 laps after Charles Evans came down to pit road to go into the pits, and that is going to hand Evans a healthy lead, I believe, here. We'll wait for Lacey to get scored correctly this time by as he blinks out, but I believe Charles Evans, your new race leader with a decent gap. Again, scoring will update itself when they cross the line this time by. Yes, Charles Evans is your new race leader by 4.5 seconds over the 16 of Gortman. He has 5 lap older tires, but like we said, played him on pit road. He's put himself in a very advantageous position, has 4 seconds to slow up, save those tires. Charles Evans, last week's winner, in control now at the moment by a healthy margin. Gortman running him down quick though, but we will wait and see as we are approaching 30 laps to go, 35 this time. The strategy continues to be the thing, and Gortman got past right when he was going down pit road, but those two stayed out and continued to battle, and Charles Evans said, hey, go ahead, because I know that I'm going to beat you on the pit stops with my fresh tires, and it's exactly what he's done.
Yes, and it worked out for him real well last race, pitting a little bit later, but this time he decides to pit a little bit early. It seems as though Lucas Gortman's run about 0.4 of a second faster, so Charles Evans may not have too much longer here as he's running just under 3 seconds lead time ahead of Lucas Gortman. So I figure probably here in about another 10 laps, you're going to see that 16 car all over that 53. So can he hold him off? And is that are those 5 laps going to matter? You know, I mean, this is the final stretch. If we stay under green flag, this may or may not be detrimental to Charles Evans, but he is looking for that back-to-back race wins here. Race wins. Wow, I had one of your moments there, Mitchell.
Well, I don't know if I should be offended or impressed that you're picking up on my little broadcast, how I broadcast, my little speech errors here and there. We try up here in the 10-4 broadcast booth. You see Charles Evans there on that graphic. Lost 0.2 of a second to Lucas Gortman that last time by. Evans' fastest lap in the race, faster than Gortman's. Landon Lacey had both the fastest lap of the race and the fastest lap the last time around, so the 6 definitely still has the speed here, but you see him in the 16 of Gortman. If these two get battling again, of course they're now only 2 seconds behind race leader Charles Evans. They seem much faster at the moment, but if they get battling, that hands an advantage right to Evans. So this is one of those points, Patrick, I think you had mentioned earlier, I would have raced earlier for the lead before the stage. Not here. I am going to wait, sit here, run in line, because we are making fast time on Charles Evans up front.
Yes, we are. And Landon Lacey, you saw he was 4 seconds off, or, well, 2.5 seconds, 4 off of Charles Evans, but 2.5 seconds off Lucas Gortman. But he's right back on his rear bumper again, and we're right back at it for second and third. But here we go again. Do we follow along and try to catch up to Charles Evans? I don't think so. Seeing that Charles Evans just doesn't have it hooking. He had a heck of a fast lap there. Yes, he did run the fastest there, but it looks like Landon Lacey just turned the fastest lap with a 27.59 on that last lap there. So he is definitely cooking here. So whether Charles Evans can play a little defense here in the next few laps, we're about to find out. As you can see, Gortman, Lacey, second and third, running up on Charles Evans in the first, Mitchell.
You see that last time by, Gortman was about half a second faster, as there goes the 6 underneath the 16 of Gortman. He says, no, we're fast enough. I feel like I can race you because I want to catch Charles Evans first. And that could be the advantage, but honestly, at the pace they're going, they could race right up to that 53 as the 6 car still fighting on the inside. Landon Lacey, been strongest early on, dominated early, but has gotten behind the 8 ball here in the latter stages of the race, fighting with the 16 as you see the 53 of Charles Evans. Now on the screen, he is right there on track as the 6 slid up the track, tried to clear the 16, but Lucas Gortman fighting back. But the thing is, Patrick, where does the 53 of Evans run? Because he could hold up some driver and determines who get out front. And if it goes like it did last time, that could determine who wins this race. This is very crucial.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say, Lucas Gortman and Landon Lacey definitely going to figure out how they're going to go. Do they single file around 53? Do they put it double wide and ride him up higher into the turn? Because I guarantee you, Landon Lacey is sick and tired of seeing the rear bumper of Lucas Gortman here. So he keeps making that dive to the inside and kind of riding him up into those turns, help him burn his tires off a little bit. But as you can see, we're getting that quick jam up here. First, second, and third going past the finish line here. Chris Evans dropping down to the bottom. Charles Evans, excuse me. As we have Lucas Gortman in second and Landon Lacey in third here for the battle for the lead.
Now, I don't want to write off Charles Evans in the 53 at all. He is going to fight very hard for this position, but we've seen the tire advantage 5 laps seems to have made here as Lucas Gortman looks up the inside. So does the 6 of Lacey, but he is going to continue to fight 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. Contact between the 6 and the 16 up the inside. They are fighting for position. Who gets out on top? The 6. Oh, he was so close. I think the 16 almost backed out there and said, okay, I think that was a little more than I wanted with 25 laps to go, but nevertheless, the 6 of not Charles Evans, Landon Lacey, healthily out front, healthily has a healthy lead, I guess. I don't think healthily is a word. The 6 car, I mean, he worked it perfectly, was behind the 16, just gave himself the run when they worked around the 53. What a move, and the fastest car in the early stages of the race, back on point for the first time since the lap before those pit stops, but it had been about 50 laps before that he'd been out front.
Yeah, kind of heartbreaking here for Lucas Gortman because, man, I would hate to try to have to run down this 6 car. I mean, they'd kind of been battling, kind of chasing each other. He was able to hold them off as long as he was in the lead. Good blocks, good lane choice, but I think Lucas Gortman, if he doesn't pick up the pace here in a little bit, because, see, we only got about 21 laps to go, that he's going to have to kind of depend on race traffic to kind of jam him up. So I hope this isn't away from Lucas Gortman. I'd like to see him get another win for number 4, which may be a record here in the Powerhouse Racing League. Oh, man, as you can see, Landon Lacey 6 almost gets in the back of Hunter Moody there. Definitely in the lead. Not want to take that chance. So as they go around here, diving into turn 1 and 2, they're lining up with a lapped car. So we'll see how Lucas Gortman plays this here, Mitchell.
Well, Gortman is certainly not out of this race. We can't write him off yet. You've got the lap time checker here. You see that the 16 has been faster through the first sector, looking faster through the second as well. So Gortman, well, not so much. Got held up significantly by the lap car there of the 11 of Hunter Moody. So that set Gortman back quite a bit from the progress he had made on the 6. Don't count him out yet, but like you said, this 6 car was lights out fast in the first 2 stages of the race when he got out front. Give him the lead with 20 laps to go like he has right now as he blinked out just a little bit again. And I think it is going to be difficult for these drivers to catch Landon Lacey. Your biggest prayer is that he has issues getting through lap traffic, which you do see him dealing with right now. This is the 12 of Dustin Roos that Landon Lacey is working around, able to work around that lap car very well there. Didn't hold him up on exit or anything, so good work for Landon Lacey, but clean track out in front of him. I believe we'll pull up the track map here on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and you can see it there. The big dot going into turn 1 is the 6 of Landon Lacey, and it is clear sailing for quite a ways around this track. In turn 3 right now is the 4 of Humphrey, and that is the next car that Lacey is going to have to deal with. So things looking good for the 6, but again, a lot can happen in 18 laps.
Yes, and Landon Lacey, you see kind of got hung up here in the 3rd stage, behind Gortman before the caution, and he wasn't really able to race his line. And now that he's out in front, he's able to race where he wants to go, where his original lines were, and now he's most likely going to take off here. So, good move. I mean, it's tough to kind of dice him around here, but I'd like to see Gortman get back in it. But I think Gortman may have more of a battle with Charles Evans, kind of trying to reel him in here if Gortman keeps having any kind of trouble with some lap traffic here, Mitchell.
Well, right now there is a healthy gap as well for Lucas Gortman over 3rd place Charles Evans as Gortman gets his way around Dustin Roos in the 12. That puts a lap car in between Gortman and Evans, which is exactly what you want if you're trying to stay around him, because you know that Evans at some point is going to have to fight with the 12 of Roos to put him 1 lap down. Jeffrey Ramsdell, want to go highlight him really quick. We saw him get in that wreck earlier got spun around a little bit. He's fought himself back up into the top 5, running 5th right now. So good recovery from Jeffrey Ramsdell to pick up a top 5 here in the closing stages. Again, if you're out there watching in the chat, then let us know if you are. Say, how's your favorite driver doing here tonight? It seems like we've got a pretty good gap in between most cars right now, but again, the race not over until it's over. I've seen a lot of races that look like they're done, get a late race caution, and then we are in overtime here from Phoenix. But coming to 13 laps to go this time, Landon Lacey a second and a half out over Lucas Gortman. Like you said, Gortman is closer to Evans in third at this point than he is to Lacey, your race leader, but again, that gap looks pretty healthy as well, and he does have the tire advantage, 5 laps fresher, so should be, I think, I don't want to jinx it, but I think Gortman is looking at a solid second place finish, which again came into tonight 40 points behind Charles Evans in the number 53, so these are the kind of runs he needs to have, but he is also going to need to start beating him by more than one position if he wants to reel that points back in.
Absolutely, and there's no other way around it. I mean, it's kind of every race is different, and it's just how you play it. And you can see how this didn't work out with lap traffic, kind of held him up even more, and now he's kind of falling off Landon about by 2 seconds. But a good shout out for the Powerhouse Racing League, being able to put on this race here tonight here at Phoenix with 11 laps to go right here before checkered flag. Kayla McCarthy rolling back here in the 4th position. We got Jeffrey Ramsdell in the 5th. Jonathan Humphrey not to be counted out in the 6th. And Hunter Moody on 1 lap down in 8th. And looks like Bart Hook and Danny Puddin, those 2 gentlemen have taken it to the garage tonight, and that should round up the last of your vehicles tonight.
Yeah, Danny Puddin had a rough start to the race here in that 98 after running strong last week. Was hoping that Danny could put up a good run here at Phoenix. It was a struggle from the get-go, and Bart Hook, we looked like a mechanical issue, certainly lost steering after the contact with the turn 2 wall, but I think his steering went out or blew a tire or something that caused that 61 to retire. Stellar Stella out in the chat. How are you doing out there? Glad you're joining us here with 9 laps to go, excuse me. The quick mental math was incorrect there on that one. Landon Lacey's pulled out another second over Lucas Gortman. Gortman doing a pretty good job keeping Charles Evans back. Evans getting just slightly closer, but he needs to start making bigger gains if he wants to get there in time.
Yes, but with eight laps to go, this may be a heck of a move. So this may be here the highlight of the end of the race. As Lucas Gortman, I'm wondering if he's starting to have a little tire trouble, and if at all, if Charles was able to save any of those tires from pitting 5 laps early.
Yeah, we will have to see. Charles Evans, again, good on the long run. That was his strategy kind of in the earlier going, was just to kind of save him up. Been a strong, consistent night for Evans. Same for Gortman, though, in the 16. Don't want to discredit either one of these drivers on what they've done. Also, Landon Lacey, don't want to discredit the dominant drive he has had here tonight. Clearly the fastest car as we are coming to the line and in the early stages. But these two here gave him a run for the money there. And again, these two are the ones battling for the overall season championship at the moment. So these two, there's a lot at stake here for Lucas Gortman to keep in front of Evans, because he needs to make up points if he wants to win that DC Designs paint scheme and the Cushman & Sons trophy at the end of the season, coming to 5 laps to go.
Yes, and Lucas Gortman holding them off just barely by only about a half a second. So these two getting going with 5 laps to go. There's no time to let up, but now's the time to send it. So we're about to find out how long these ARCA cars can hold Phoenix here tonight, as the track has heated up to 91. Well, actually, it's cooled down to 91 degrees. So this may start slicking up the track a little bit for these guys, and it's going to be a little difficult to try to wrap around here. As you see, Charles Evans is a little higher than normal. He may be trying to kind of whip through here and catch back up to Lucas Gortman. I hope he can. I'd like to see a good run here right toward the end as Landon Lacey taking off with a 3-second lead. So he will most likely, if everything stays clean, be your race winner tonight. As Charles Gortman and wow, Lucas Gortman and Charles Evans are racing for second and third. My bad, everybody.
Yeah, Lacey doing a good job here. Coming to 3 laps to go. Just needs 3 more clean laps in that number 6 machine to bring it home here tonight for his second win of the season at Phoenix. Here he has the number 4 machine of Jonathan